zombie babies yet?
We haven't. Somebody asked, David Morrissey just asked me. He's like, hey, how come babies don't become walkers? I know, they're probably,
exactly.
They're the chewiest of everybody.
Sandwich right there.
The fear is as an infant we're so dependent upon our parents, but a zombie baby could literally, walk out into the
Well, it couldn't walk. It would
probably
probably get eaten first, would be my guess.
Okay.
There's a tiny little to that in episode 1, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we did episode 5 last year, where Daryl and Maggie go looking for milk, and they went into the child care, the daycare, and just the idea of going through that daycare and seeing the sleeping bags on the ground and the handprints. We put our kids' names up on the wall and stuff like that. But we do all those little things, but it's more the dread of like, oh please, there's no way I really want to see whether you're going to see it or not. But
there's a little nod to something in the first episode back, a little.
There is, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, was there ever consideration? I'm sure you've asked us a lot that Lori's baby would be a zombie before it was killed.
Well, there's that great scene. One of my favorite scenes in the first episode is when Herschel and Lori are talking, and she's like, I haven't felt it move. And just the idea that it could be dead in her stomach, and that horrific, great performance by Sarah Callies. Yeah, we never made the pregnant belly with the humanoids from the Jeep. We haven't done that. But, I love how that's set up, because it's just the most horrific idea. So we certainly, Herschel and Lori have that conversation in 301.
Yeah.
For the actors, is it ever unnerving to be surrounded by tons of extras in the zombie stuff, and they're a little in character still when the camera's not rolling? Is there a creep factor that comes just by being surrounded by all those people?
Not by the people. I mean, there are times where just seeing something that Greg has done for the particular gag that you're like, oh wow, that's a lot.
One of the great things, the ways that he does them too, is you don't just see a monster, you see like the sad, lost, dying person behind the monster. That's creepy. When they're sitting around smoking cigarettes or having a Twizzler in the corner, it's not so creepy. But when they turn it on and you're in the heat of the moment, to feel bad for them, that's a hard thing to do.
And I'm very protective of that kind of. Every photo that's released of the walkers, I always want to make sure that the makeup looks perfect and the contact lenses look right, and because it really sort of embeds in our audience what they have in store for them. So, if there's pictures of walkers eating popsicles and hanging out, it tortures me a little bit, because it's like pulling back. Listen, I always think about when The Exorcist was made, or when Jaws was made, and if they would have had, like, hey, see how they turned Linda Blair into the devil, it would have taken all the mystery away. And Simon Pegg and I had a long conversation about that one time when we were talking about how much we love the mystery of it, and how much we love not knowing. And I think sometimes sort of building that mystique, even though we know it's done with magic and mirrors and smoke and great actors and things, I like preserving a little bit of mystery, because I think it's fun. And I think character-wise, that's always exciting too. So.
Norman, you had a fantastic scene, of course, with Rooker after he turned and taking him out. It was really touching and it's so moving. You did an amazing job with that. You've always shown your loyalty to Rick, but will this cause some consternation between you two? Might there be some blame for it, and maybe have some struggle to leave or stay?
I mean, Greg directed that episode with Merle, so a lot of all of that was Greg. But the thing with Rick and Rooker, I mean, and Merle, you don't tell Merle what to do. If Merle decides he's going to go do something, he's going to go do it. And I don't know that blame would be passed around, because I know my brother, that if he's got his mind set to something, he's just going to go do it. There's lots of internal things going on, but at the heart of it, people in the camp try to have each other's back until they don't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Rick's like the brother that Daryl didn't have anymore, you know, in a lot of ways. And then there's a lot of weird resentment as brothers have, you know. So there's all sorts of things going on there.
And you mentioned also just real quick about Easter eggs with the zombies you throw in like that. Of course, you were in a very popular cult hit movie, Boondock Saints. What about throwing in one of those Laughter Kill a Zombie, No Me to Panche?
You know,
we should do that.
You know what I did? It got cut though. But remember when we were all in the car last season and we're driving and we see the spot when we come out and he hears the phone call? Remember that whole thing?
And when you go to the National Guard.
And I picked up stuff. I picked up a bunch of rope, wondering if people would pick that up. And it got cut out. But there was a thing, which I don't even know if I told anyone.
That whole scene was cut, yeah.
Well, just throw some credit my way when you throw that line. Thank you.
For sure.
Dude, we'll totally do it.
Ms. Gurira, I was wondering, everybody has talked quite a bit about the idea that you have Tyrese and you have Daryl, and so Rick is no longer like the sole kind of source that everybody looks to for power and leadership. But you're one of these characters, like, just the fact that you're female doesn't mean that you couldn't kick most everybody in the room's ass.
What? Yo.
So does that inform your performances, the dynamic between you two, not just you two, but between the characters when you're playing off, is that there's all these kind of unspoken things that are going on, especially with new people being added to the cast?
I think with Michonne, she's such a loner, you know what I mean? And it's for her, it's about being a part of a group in that she's choosing it. So she chooses to be amongst these people, and she chooses to contribute. And her belief in them is that there's something about this group of people that, in some ways, could save her soul. But in other ways, it's also about, now if I invest in that, it's about protection and preservation. So how she can contribute, she figures out how to contribute. But, there is an aspect of her lonership that comes into play. So it doesn't, for her, it's never about trying to, say, oh, there are all these men or, Tyrese or whatever. It's not how her mind works. For her, I mean, she takes what she takes comfort in is when she can just be alone sometimes. She has this loner mentality so there's nothing about the dynamics that cause her to feel like she has to, try and be a part in different ways. What she's comfortable with is how she's figured out how to contribute in a way where she feels like this is how I contribute to this group. And she makes the choice. And that can be tricky in a community because you can't always just make the choice if it doesn't work with the group. And I think that's her, the complexity of her stepping into a dynamic of a group is that she's so used to being on her own. That's where she finds comfort. So it's not about trying to, deal with a Tyrese or a Rick or whatever. It's about stepping out of lonership, which is where her comfort is the most palpable.
But with that, would you want her to step not just out of lonership, but if you're lonely, I mean, just even for companionship?
Right. And I think that's a part of why she knows this is the community that she needs in order to, save herself.
Better romantic companionship is what I mean.
Well, listen, and you know what was interesting last week?
Everyone wants Michonne to get something.
I know.
I think that's so sweet. I appreciate that shit. And I think we're giving no.
What if Michonne will have one sex scene and then she'll like all of a sudden not be good with the katana anymore. It'll take her mojo away.
Tantrum power.
You can't do that.
Yeah, we can't do it.
Well, whether romantic or not, Michonne and Daryl both had really big losses right at the end of the season. Will they kind of bond with each other as a result of that?
Everybody likes this
idea.
idea.
Likes this idea, yeah. The thing, a lot about our dynamic, the two characters' dynamic, is sort of like our personal dynamic in a lot of ways. Like, there's certain things that happen even in season 4 where there are characters that don't step up to the plate, and Daryl's like, get up, man, stop being a wimp, and with her, she's got a couple of things where she says to me that's like, in any other circumstance, would be like, what'd you just say to me? And it's kind of like, I like this girl. You know what I'm saying? So there are similarities.
If you guys had a baby, would it have a crossbow and a katana? It would be like a crossbow with a sword on the end.
It would take over the world.
All right. Get where's Scott Kimball? Get him over.
It could probably read your mind.
And be awesome with women. Sorry. I just love the visual of a little baby with a crossbow. That makes me laugh. See, we're talking about baby zombies. There you go. Sorry.
That could, the baby with the crossbow could fight the baby zombies.
Dude, I'm so in.
Yeah, might be the answer.
Do it.
I'm in. It'll be like it'll be like the all CG version. Sorry. What? Who does? We do? Oh. We just had the greatest idea.